All right, Ender, here we are. Origen versus Splyce. Both teams at 3 and 2. Let's set some expectations now for early game. I know we did a bit in Champion Select, but let's follow up. Level 1 positioning, not going to see anything too aggressive. Vizicsacsi just poking his head in. If you're a jungler in this case, where are you putting your attention in the early game? Where is your focus?
Well, I think the most interesting jungler to follow here has to be Xerxe for me. Of course, he has more playmaking tools in the early game, whether it's the long-range cocoon or even the ability to repel and go for tower dive. So post level 3, going to be tracking Xerxe. And I think if he starts towards this bottom side of the map, it sets up his route very, very nicely for playing around Vizicsacsi. Once he does hit that level 3, he can path from bottom up towards top and then set something up.
What is the option going to be for now? Looks like he will get the leash from his bot lane. Just poking in here, though. Still 12 minutes away from the spawn. Not entirely sure what happened on the bottom side of the map, as they did have so many members committed on the top side. But both junglers now set up to start at their respective blue buffs. Maybe a case of vertical jungling. We'll see what the approach is here from both sides.
And I wonder if Vizicsacsi wants to just allow Alphari to push in that wave top lane. Actually, this is Rumble mid lane, folks. It's going to be Irelia up top side, up against the Gnar, and Alphari into the Akali can just push these waves pretty freely. You know, this is a pick that we were wondering when Rumble's priority rose in pro play, and we were seeing him so much picked in the top side, but her rumblings of that pick and solo queue.
Norskeren locked up. Guardian can block a bit of damage there, but a unfortunate trade. And this thing that I love about this Ender is that we're now seeing the swap come in, and we saw this before with Fnatic, with the use of the Shen into the Aatrox mid lane. Now we're seeing OG do it as well, where it's not about swapping into Nukeduck, someone who maybe doesn't play as much Rumble mid, but putting the player who's comfortable on the pick into the appropriate lane.
Yeah, and there's a couple reasons why this is so good. First of all, we already saw when we took that peek at mid lane, Humanoid on this Akali can just not, he can't contest the minion push here from Alphari. Alphari is going to be less vulnerable in a shorter lane too, as this Rumble, who doesn't have the greatest of escape tools, so he can push, back away from the wave, and be relatively safe. While up top side, even though Nukeduck we know is going to be pressured in the early laning phase, because he has hard CC in his kit. Once Kold, you know, goes for a reset, maybe gets his Predator boots as well, they could look to set up a play towards this top lane, which I thought would actually be where Splyce would want to play themselves.
And now set up to sit very comfortably under that tower as well, at least for now. Xerxe, of course, the one that we have to keep our eyes on, but we'll spot out the ward here using the sweeper to clear out a little bit of vision. Can now move up to the top side of the map, lay down a bit of vision control. Of course, the scuttle spawning in just a few moments. So we'll be set up to take control of that one. Kold just focusing on the Krugs for now. His bot lane continuing to dominate in these trades. 20 CS to 8. Incredibly tough position for the Xayah Rakan to be in.
Yep, they're going to keep slapping down here, especially while Kold is in his area. But up top side here with Xerxe, we saw him and Vizicsacsi actually tag team to roam into this top side jungle, pop the vision cone as well to make sure there is no Kold on this top side. They see him in the river as well, so Xerxe and Vizicsacsi can be very comfortable pushing up forward top side.
For now, Elise with a decent camp advantage has not been able to turn it into anything else. Of course, XP is going to be important. Humanoid has to be careful about coming in on the trade here. Knows Kold is on the bottom side, so will not push for anything more. Does not, however, know that he's right in that bush. And a good amount of damage coming in from Alphari. Overheat, so he cannot follow up on the kill, but a lot going in there from the Rumble mid.
Yeah, Humanoid's going to have to go back to base. Thankfully for him, he opted into the teleport as opposed to a more aggressive Ignite option. He's staying. This is an overstay by Humanoid as well, especially with Xerxe recalling. If Xerxe doesn't cancel this base, he could potentially be in a little bit of trouble, but doesn't look like OG are comfortable enough with the HP bar on Alphari to threaten.
Unknown information. They do not know exactly where Xerxe is, did not know that he was backing, so will not take any crazy risks there. And of course, Nukeduck himself, or rather Alphari himself, Rumble, still quite low overall. Have to see how the rest of the lane phase. You can see Nukeduck a little bit more comfortable on the top side now that the wave has balanced out, but Vizicsacsi doing his best to zone off with the range advantage. Probably wishes he could stay mini Gnar indefinitely in this matchup, but will not have that luxury, especially as we move later in the game.
Xerxe creeping up in towards this top lane. That minion, unfortunately, the blue minion walking up towards the range creeps means Xerxe can't quite get in range as much as he would like to.
Moving forward, the wall up is dodged. Eyes on the cocoon. Kold is now coming in. That is a fast Gragas. He's going to back off here. Stun will connect onto Vizicsacsi. Good bit of damage. Have to be careful. Mini Gnar's now coming out, so the burst damage for the Gnar is gone. The sustained damage is now back.
Coldfield's comfortable walking up here to thwart a gank and to stop that fight from ever happening, but ultimately Gragas doesn't bring a whole lot when it comes to the 2 versus 2. We still would expect an Elise to win out in that, but if they can get the drop on Vizicsacsi, that's when they'll win.
Have to be careful. Under the tower, they see Xerxe, they immediately back off, just hoping maybe fishing for a summoner spell there, but now Norskeren in trouble, just barely able to survive.
What'd I tell you, Dracos? You expect the Xayah Rakan to die in this 2v2.
I don't know if anybody expected that. Norskeren having a hard time in this lane. Cannot step forward into Patrik, but it is a flash. Traded for a cleanse in the end. So, while they're at a deficit, maybe an opportunity to punish the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and Kobbe recalls TPs back in the lane, but it's really uncomfortable for him to walk up and clear this wave because it was sort of frozen on OG's side of the map. And you can see, if we look down towards bot side, Mithy is actually all the way up in that bush, trying to zone Kobbe away from the CS. So ultimately, I think it's a terrible teleport from Kobbe. Because the support has to go back to base, he just wasted that summoner spell. He's not even EXP range.
But you can see the call ender. Elise is now moving to the bottom side of the map. Maybe they're hoping to break the freeze here, but for now, he's just caught doing nothing. And Kold knows he can move for this one, but the bot lane cannot come contest.
Xerxe smited Kold there, not the Scuttle Crab.
Bit unfortunate. Mithy has a black shield. Norskeren has to go back to safety. Stand aside will connect Kold on the bottom side, but there will be no follow. Mithy taking a lot of damage here in the trade.
This 2v2 is absolutely doomed from Splyce.
Oh, the flash forward. Norskeren trying to make it out.
Double
TP.
TP.
Connect. They're totally committing. Splyce taking a page from the Fnatic playbook, and Patrik now in trouble. Goodbye to the Draven. Freeze frame as fire rains from the sky, and a double kill comes through from Humanoid. From non-existent to dominating, Akali is back.
Kobbe needed this. The 2v2 is in such a brutal position for Splyce, but the full team says, we will commit down here. This lane is permanently frozen. If we don't make this play, the game ends now. Vizicsacsi and Humanoid both coming down with the double teleport as well to catch OG off guard to get a couple kills.
Definitely caught off guard. The question is, what can OG do while those TPs are down? Their TPs are down as well, and it's a difficult position they now find themselves in. A snowballing Akali is a terrifying sight, especially when Alphari was doing so good in the individual matchup.
Oh yeah, I mean, this Akali was just permanently pushed underneath the tower, never had any room to do anything. You can see they feel very comfortable committing here with the flash forward. The second it connects, Splyce already had this plan. Xerxe came down here, the TP comes in immediately. Double stun there from Humanoid means both Patrik and Mithy will fall.
And once again, excellent highlight coming in from our observer team, highlighting the second the TP was used topside. Nuke had to TP back to secure that wave. Instantly, Splyce knew they would have more members on the bottom side if they went for the fight.
And now, the best part of this for Splyce is that with 2 kills under Humanoid's belt, if this can now unlock the mid lane matchup, if now Humanoid can get the push advantage against Rumble, it creates so much safety for that bottom lane that was constantly being pushed in. Now, all of a sudden, if Akali can be the first one to move, you can then make plays around the side lanes.
Now we see the swap coming out. Nukeduck left on his lonesome, protecting that top lane tower as Patrik and Mithy fight for a few of these plates. And Humanoid and Vizicsacsi now teaming up to move to the top side tower. Nukeduck needs to get out. Kold level 6, though, has tools to disengage if they try to start a fight.
Splyce are making this rotation up here very early. Notice there's not even a Rift Herald here yet, so they need to commit many members topside to go for this race. You can see OG also want to move over. They have the tools to try and clear away the waves with the Rumble and the Gragas.
Stuns now coming in. Nukeduck diving back and forth, just burning cooldowns, forcing them away from the tower. Meantime, Patrik is uncontested, breaking plates on the bottom side.
Yeah, let's switch bot lane now because Vizicsacsi's like, okay, well, I can't go top lane. I need to come bot lane and pick up some minions. Mithy just trying to zone him away from the towers. Patrik nears getting 3 solo plates in that bottom lane. I think this could actually be a very good trade for Origen.
They're saying Humanoid moving up, trying to dive Nukeduck, but Kold is shadowing once again. They want to disengage. They know that they have an advantage given what they've got on the bottom side. Nukeduck not going to overstay, waits to see the members moving towards mid lane before he returns back to deny at least this 4th plate.
Alphari now being pushed out of the mid lane as well. Ideally, Kold would love to be in top lane, clearing away the minion waves, but because Xerxe and Humanoid can move together so quickly between both mid and top lane, he's forced to sit in the jungle, just protecting against the dive, which means his barrels are not there to clear away the minion waves and stop the push from Kobbe and Norskeren.
Nukeduck doing what he can to hold on here. Xerxe now coming up as well. Kold on the way too. Minion wave falling away, they won't commit for the full dive. Nukeduck just grabbing as much CS as he can while the tower at least slowly dies.
Yeah, it's actually been so long now that the Rift Herald is going to be spawning, so while Humanoid does get chunked out in the mid lane, Splyce were the ones that early committed up top side. In 15 seconds that spawns, Xerxe can easily solo that out with a Spider Lance.
Topside control looks like it may start to pay off here. But now you have to keep your eyes on where exactly the Draven is going to go as the lanes have the potential to reset.
Yeah, the call here from OG, you see after that push up bot lane, they're like, wait a second, hold up. It's 10 minutes, Rift Herald is on the map. Splyce want to take that, so we send our duo up there.
Cocoon, max range is going to connect onto Alphari. Mithy now coming in with the black shield, buying a bit of time. Eyes on Humanoid, where's he going to go? Binding will go wide. And the play will be stopped in its tracks. Perfect timing from Mithy coming in with the black shield to stop anything else from happening.
That's the rotation right there, coming up towards mid, trying to keep Alphari safe and let him push out this wave and get a good recall for himself. I love this game already, Dragas, because even though we've only had 2 kills, you can tell that both teams have very different ideas of how they want to play this game. Splyce like, okay, we get out of this 2v2 bot lane, we rotate the map, we buy time for the Herald, and now Origen have called that. They say with the Herald spawning, we can now match in that 2v2, and they're back in that beautiful matchup of Draven Morgana.
Comfortable to do so. Mithy, though, still has to be careful here. A lot more damage now on Xayah. She starts to get some of these early items. First item's not yet complete for Patrik. We're on the opposite side for Kobbe. But Norskeren as well, fighting with, you know, stepping forward a lot here this game. And while he's made it out with his life every single time, still has to be careful. Still has to give that respect to potential kills from Draven and Morgana. And I'm kind of still waiting to see more from Humanoid here, Ender. Of course, a good game so far. Came in with the TP. Helped his bot lane, kind of rescued them from a losing situation, but now with the 2-0, still in a very tough spot in the matchup.
Yeah, you know, he's got a 600 gold lead at the moment, even though he's down in CS, working towards that Gunblade, and it seems that in this 1v1, you're always going to be pushed in by the Rumble, because he can just drop the Flame Spitter, instantly clear away those minion waves, and what that has unlocked with the pressure from the duo, as well as Alphari in the mid, is the control over this river for Origen.
Here we go. Stepping forward, though, just immediately wants to take Xerxe out of the fight. They know if they can take one member, may be able to win the whole thing. Divining will go in. Not going to be quite enough on the Draven. Good sidestep from Xerxe on the back half of the Whirling Death there. Nukeduck, though, grabs the solo kill on the bot side. He got permission to go in as soon as they saw all 4 members of Splyce there. Split back down. Norskeren immediately goes in. The Gragas now taken out. Patrik still alive for it now. Locked up. Norskeren now set to fall. Where's the catch-in for the Draven? It's not there yet. Rumble will grab the kill. They're backing off. Alphari kills Norskeren, and it is a mess on the top side.
Yeah, Splyce going super deep for that fight right there, but Origen win out overall. They trade 1-for-1 in the river, while Nukeduck goes nuts up against Xayah in the bottom lane, getting the solo kill and the turret on top.
And now Patrik still complete control of the top side of the map. You can see Kobbe got a little bit more experience as Patrik was roaming around, but we'll get the level 8 shortly in 104 CS to 89. Doing well, but Alphari could be in trouble. Xerxe going up, the TP coming into the mid lane. Humanoid has to be careful here. Patrik looking to duel with Kobbe. Kobbe firing back with the cash in. Goes through yet another solo kill in this matchup.
Cash money for Patrik top lane. Origen solo players are coming up so clutch right now. Kobbe thought he could take the fight. He has his ultimate, he has his flash, but he just dropped right there. Big play from Patrik.
Brutal.
Man.
Nobody snowballs like a Draven snowballs. Goes back, buys Bloodthirster, as well as the pickaxe. And let's take a look at the pro view here. There's 1v1 on the bottom side. How did Nukeduck come out on top here?
Well, Nukeduck has a level lead right now over the Gnar. He uses the Q to extend the range of the flawless duet for the stun. You can see just so many resets. There's nothing the Gnar can do. And if we think back like 2 years, this used to be a bad matchup for Gnar into the Irelia, because she could always force onto you. When Gnar's in his mini, he just wants to poke. He wants to keep you at range. But because of Irelia's ability to reset her Qs onto her target, she can instantly close the gap and make sure there's no getting away.
And I mean, you have Fleet Footwork, she has Conquer. So once she's on top of you, once that is stacking up on top of the path,
you're trying to run really fast.
Yeah, you just run as fast as humanly possible. Vizicsacsi not fast enough. Difficult situation now to be in. And I love, once again, the swap from OG is just paying dividends over and over again. Humanoid, though, now grabbing the blue buff, getting closer to the Gunblade. Maybe this can be something. Vizicsacsi now retreating. Stun will come out. Mithy is here just in case. Stun will go wide. Not going to get anything. Once again, also Mithy, exactly where he needs to be. So OG really just moving around the map expertly.
Yeah, as long as Mithy shows up in the right place at the right time with his black shield, it should be very effective at stopping any attempts that Splyce are making for these fights. And even while he's down bottom side, there's a play up top. Patrik is alone and there's a teleport.
Going in, Kobbe has to be careful here. Patrik, where's he going to go? Sidestep splashes out from the Rakan, but the Akali's there too. They've committed enough resources to kill Patrik. He will get taken down. Humanoid grabs another kill.
Really heads up play there from Splyce. Humanoid using his teleport once again to make a solid play up top side. With the numbers advantage there too, they should be able to respond for their first turret of the game, try to close this gold lead.
Ooh. Can they grab it? It's pretty easy to do. Kold won't even walk up. Not enough time. But still, a small gold lead for OG overall. And while we did say Patrik bought a pickaxe,
he sold the pickaxe.
He sold it during the replay. Undid it, most likely. Didn't just throw gold away and got boots too.
You never know. Sometimes pro players do some silly things. Probably not that silly.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, Ender, because I don't know for sure. But now Gunblade completed. That is an important first item, as well as you've got Rune Glaives coming in for each of the respective junglers. So there's a lot of burst on both these teams. We're just waiting to see who gets caught out first.
Look at this from Alphari, too, going for the double flat magic pen with the boots and the Morella Namicon. The healing cutting going to be pretty effective with the Grievous Wounds on the Akali now top lane. This is the teleport coming in from behind. Good job on that to spot it. And I mean, Patrik's just in a hopeless position, right? He can flash away. He probably didn't even see that the humanoid teleport came on through, so there was nothing he could do about that.
Ooh. I love it when we zoom in on the death cam, but it also feels so sad. Poor Patrik. He wanted the 1v1. Classic
There's
Draven
just
moment.
no honor from this Splyce team.
I'm just concerned for Splyce because I think that right now Norskaren's going to die. Nope, we'll make it out. Never mind.
He's got the moves.
Cast Curse. Saved his life. Anyway, continuing forward, you can see the difference in play. It's not going to amount to too much. Once again, a game of relatively small gold leads. The Herald was the important part of this early game. OG and Kold were able to secure it, and now they are set up to break the mid lane tower if they want to commit, but Humanoid's on the way up. We may just see a first full-out fight.
And there's no teleport here on Nukeduck, so OG will get the turret damage from that Herald, but they can't commit any further forward because Splyce ready to collapse with 5 members at the same time, while Nukeduck was much more comfortable picking up a minion wave in the side lane.
Nukeduck now stepping forward. Humanoid spotted out as he clears out a bit of vision and grouped up Splyce. Norskeren stepping forward, double battle dance to close the gap. I'm just waiting to see who oversteps here. Vizicsacsi stacking up the rage bar. Gnar will be on the way, but just barely not going to hit it.
Right now, Humanoid is just the strongest member in this game in terms of gold, in terms of itemization. He has that gunblade. So if Splyce going to do anything, it has to be around him, and he has to be looking to assassinate Patrik in these team fights. I think the turning point in this game when we look at 5v5s, because overall, very scrappy. You have a lot of tools to knock it back. You have assassins trying to dive in. It's going to be all over the place. The determining factor for me is whether or not Patrik can plant his feet and just throw axes and kill Humanoid, or if Humanoid can get that assassination. It's going to be very key as Xayah gets in a little trouble.
Split action. Xayah now knocked back, but the Gnar is there. Have to respect the potential for the engage. Keep your eyes on the bottom side as well, because Alphari has gone down, but OG now realize they may need to win the fight. The Soul Shackles come out, whirling death, gonna hit 4. Now that's gonna be enough. Pulled back, and Nukeduck gonna grab the kill there in the end. A 1-for-1 trade across the map. There's no Baron though on the top side for OG to take or even contest, so it'll just be the tier 1 tower.
Yep, they can run up there. Both teams going to be trading here overall 1-for-1 as Splyce continue to put more and more resources into Humanoid. They want to snowball this Akali so that he can go toe-to-toe up against Nukeduck's Irelia. That's going to be a tough task because Nukeduck should be closing in on that Trinity Force relatively soon, but Xerxe seems to think that's the best way for Splyce to win.
Makes a lot of sense, but I have to see what Patrik wants to do about it. Of course, the member that is getting the most resources on the side of OG, left alone to farm so much, get so many of these tower plates in the early game. See what the second item buy will be. A lot of MR on the opposite side, realizing the Elise and Akali duo, a lot of the burst damage there. Very focused team comms. One of the beautiful parts about being in the stadium is you can hear the players talking. Not what they're talking about, but
this is really greedy from Vizicsacsi. That's just a pretty big mistake in my opinion. Look, top lane fully pushed in. Your jungler's down bottom side. He's trying to sneak away a crab, but if there's a Baron there, maybe I can understand it. You're trying to pick up the crab, so you have vision over that Baron. It can't be swept out, but pretty big blunder by him, while the rest of Splyce doing good things down bottom side. Alphari can flash away from the CC, but can't flash away from much of the damage coming through from that Akali.
And just the diving potential of Xerxe's Elise coming to fruition there. 4-0-1 for Humanoid. He may have bought the Merc but now he's a little bit more pen. And a Hex Drinker coming in for Patrik. Definitely giving Humanoid his due respect in this game.
Coward!
What?
Build more damage.
That is damage. It's just a little bit of both.
A little bit of both? Okay. I can respect it.
He didn't build a QSS.
Hell yeah.
That's right. Don't be too critical. Now, Vizicsacsi. See, this matchup is, I think, the matchup that Splyce were looking for. And we can see why, because Vizicsacsi just can kind of dart around on the outside. But sadly, the rest of the team not going to get to dart so much. The binding going in will go wide. And the double bounce will actually take Vizicsacsi out to safety.
It's really interesting watching how Splyce are playing this game, because it seems like the 3-man core of Kobbe, Norskeren, and Xayah are on a different page than Xerxe. Those 3 are trying to push up top lane. Xerxe's like, hold up, guys. I need to farm my jungle and keep on level pace here with Kold. So that's the one thing I'm a little concerned with them as we move into the Baron phase once that spawns up and maybe this outer turret falls down, is if they're not on the same page, Origen can just group and fight them.
Only Kobbe in the mid lane means they get a little bit more chip damage down, but OG will not overstay their welcome. Humanoid and Xerxe were moving in for the collapse, could have been disastrous. Voltage Shield combined with Hex Drinker is going to make Patrik pretty hard to burst out. They don't just find him isolated. And now Nukeduck moving up as well. So a ton of attempted collapses in this game, Ender. I feel like we always see someone moving in, looking for that opportunity, fishing, waiting for someone to step out of position.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching at home, I encourage you, just follow the minimap right now, because honestly, the big part of your screen where all the action's happening, it's just minions going down. Ultimately, what we're watching between both these two teams is they're very good at playing around vision, is who has more members in the area and when. So you see waves are frozen up top lane, Alphari goes top to push out that wave to create pressure. Instead, he realizes, okay, because I went up here and my team has less members in the mid lane, their mid lane from Splyce's side can roam up and force him off the wave. So it's this constant push and pull of where these two teams can pressure around the map, and that's really what the deciding factor is in who can find a fight and if a fight will happen at all.
Now Nukeduck's waiting on the flank. Humanoid can't walk back. The stun will come in. A lot of burst damage coming in from the Irelia. Humanoid has to be careful. Now needs to look for the retreat. Nukeduck debating his options. Elise goes up, but she has to come right back down. Mithy now stepping in. OG looking to get a few more cooldowns. We'll just get the ulti out from the Irelia in the end, as well as traded for the Gragas ult, so not too much of a win.
Yeah, big loss though from Splyce. Okay, that did not land. That was a missed binding, Dracos.
Just objectively missed. Nothing fancy.
You're welcome.
He was just walking. That one, Norskeren dodged. So, works out nicely. Really thought Norskeren was going to die there. Serendipitous. There's like trains crashing around Norskeren. He's walking on his way to work.
He's just walking like straight
car like feeders past him, crashes into a building.
He's got his headphones on.
He's got his headphones
you
on.
know?
He's chilling. You know, he's having a good time. He's oblivious. Well, he's safe for now. We'll see if that changes as we move forward. Had some struggles in lane phase, but he's been playing pretty well in a lot of these skirmishes and bigger fights, even at the 2v2. Not necessarily Splyce favored. Obviously, the team fight Rakan can be a massive threat. Interesting as we check in on levels. You talked about items already. Level 14 for Nukeduck, level 14 for Humanoid. The mid/top laners of Vizicsacsi, Alphari lagging a little behind in XP overall, but I feel like these are the two big people that we have to keep our eyes on. I would have said for sure in Champs League, and I feel like I did, that it was the Draven, but Nukeduck and Humanoid are the two that are making the plays.
Yeah, I mean, after that really clutch play from Splyce around the bottom lane to get those couple of kills and then rotate out of the bottom lane, it really alleviated a lot of the pressure that this 2v2 is going to be able to put down. But now I agree, the most important matchup is Nukeduck versus Humanoid, and I really like to see the itemization coming through from Nukeduck as well, working towards that wit's end, knowing that he is going to be fighting against this Akali in the side lane, and even if he's in a 1v2 situation, that second player is very likely the Elise that's going to be bringing a whole lot of magic damage.
Good position for split pushing, absolutely. Both teams resetting. No one breaking a mid tower quite yet. That is the catalyst for this game to kind of just explode, for action to appear everywhere. Once this breaks open, you just get so much passive vision control, but honestly, we're in a position where we might see a Baron before we see a mid lane tower.
That would surprise me, honestly, because if you can't take the mid lane outer tower, it's very hard to get control as Norskeren.
For the engage, stand aside comes out, just a trade of cooldowns, but Rakan all being down is going to limit the engage and disengage options for the side of Splyce.
Right now, Origen, though, have Alphari and Nukeduck both in side lane, so that was Splyce's window to try and make a play, 5v3 around the mid lane and maybe burn some teleport cooldowns, because they know Vizicsacsi doesn't have a teleport of his own, so he's up topside. Xerxe is here too. Alphari playing this smartly, though, and backing off.
And instead, OG have their focus on the bottom side of the map, laying down a little bit of vision control, setting up for this Ocean Drake. Alphari still has to be careful here. The rest of the team will secure this one. Splyce not interested in contesting here, but will instead move over for some Baron vision, look to secure that area. As Kobbe fights for mid lane pressure, but they'll realize that OG have now secured the Drake. Splyce, of course, matched in Oceans and still have the mountain advantage if they do want to push for these larger objectives.
I'm thinking this is going to be a pretty slow game, Dracos, because the more we look at it, we say there's so much damage from both of these two teams. They have tools to make plays solo, but in terms of front lines, it's pretty lacking on both sides. The Gragas is going full AP, which you expect in this day and age, but still not going to provide all that much. Even on the side of Splyce, you have no real tank. You have Vizicsacsi going for a Warden's Mail, knowing that he has to be some form of frontline, and that his output in a side lane isn't going to be super relevant. So both these teams are going to be very hard-pressed to walk into enemy territory and just butt heads with the enemy. They must have a numbers advantage if they want to make a play.
And talking about that itemization, talking about these team compositions, I do like that we have a Void Staff now coming in from Humanoid, limiting some of that MR-focused itemization that's coming out from the likes of the Irelia, the Draven, heck, even the Rumble. You see exactly what he wants to turn that Null Magic Mantle into later, but even then, third item, or second 2.5 items now completed for Patrik. Depends on if you want to call Hexdrinker a full item. I wouldn't. But Bloodthirster and IE incredibly powerful, but Xayah closer and closer to that 3-item spike. So what started as a very disastrous game for Kobbe is now starting to balance out.
Yeah, once he gets that Infinity Edge, I think it's smooth waters ahead here for Kobbe, if that's a phrase. We'll pretend it is.
Sure, smooth waters ahead.
Smooth sea.
Maybe not for Mithy, though. Leap over the wall from Humanoid, trying to fish for an opportunity. Black Shield, don't think it's going to be enough. Looking for the delete, but is it going to get the Shoal Shackles? Force him away. He flashes into the Rumble. All the knockback is there. Norskeren on the retreat. Patrik just wants to kill somebody. But they'll flash out. Nothing's going to happen in the end.
All right, we need these teams to fight more than once every 5 minutes because the flashes come back up, both teams engage, and then they just flash away to safety. They'll leave me hanging here. I want something, but ultimately Humanoid gets out after just barely missing the solo kill onto Mithy.
And sadly, for Humanoid, Mithy uses the stopwatch, it looks like, immediately goes back and just buys an hourglass. So he has the cooldown back again.
Okay, he can't kill Mithy. Patrik has Hex Drinker, Wit's End in the mid lane. Stopwatches on the other two members. Humanoid is not happy with that.
Yeah, strongest member of Splyce, kind of limited in the impact he can have. Have to see. I like that he fished for the play.
Oh yeah.
Because if Mithy didn't have enough gold there, that would have been the stopwatch pretty much for free. Was forced to flash out, which is a bit unfortunate, but still, fishing for those plays, that kind of proactivity is how you win a game that is very, I'm going to say, stalled out like this.
Yeah, and the whole approach was really cool too, where he pushes out that bottom lane, uses very deep vision and denial with that control ward towards the OG red buff to walk up towards that mid lane and come in from over the Raptor wall. Mithy definitely didn't expect that, and if you can find another angle like that, that's sort of Splyce's best way to find a fight, is to seemingly randomly get that Akali access to the OG backline.
Ender, quick shout out for Game 4. If you're hoping that the unofficial World Championship belt will stay in the LEC, then you're looking for Excel to win. Or you just have faith in Fnatic because we're going to smash our Rift rivals. But we'll find out. Getting a little ahead of myself. That's next week. For now, it's Patrik versus the Creep Wave.
Nice.
Unafraid to continuously auto with those axes. He's stacking, folks, and it's time for your signature Daniel Dracos.
Oh, baby.
League of Draven.
What's it going to be?
Check-in. We're at 348.
All right.
Double that. That's how much gold he's going to get. If he does cash in on a kill, plus 25.
Now, don't die, Patrik. Don't die.
You'll lose half that. But Norskeren really wants to make
That's
it die.
a teleport, actually.
That's not a great TP. He's locked in the middle of the team. Kold just runs right into Vizicsacsi, but Humanoid just immediately takes out Nukeduck. Classic sleight of hand. Look over here, but the real action is happening elsewhere. Alphari now on the retreat. Norskeren gets back. Patrik wants the cash in so bad, but he will not get over greedy. They know that they're down a member.
All right, Humanoid coming in once again. I was so confused by that teleport. 3 members of OG run towards the TP, and then Nukeduck's like, wait a second, guys. Getting jumped on by 2 people. The Wit's End not enough to save him there as Humanoid once again finds his mark.
Alphari slowed down for now. Equalizer goes in. They're going to take him in the pinch if they want to fight anymore. They have to be careful. Patrik stepping forward. He cannot get a kill in the exchange. And Splyce slowly but surely building a goal lead on the back of that play. They break the mid lane tower. They get the kill onto Nukeduck.
And the items keep rolling in for them too, right? Humanoid now 3 full items plus the Oblivion Orb for that extra flat magic pen. Infinity Edge on Kobbe. That was the time for them to fight. They saw that window, they seized the opportunity, and seeing this one more time, notice Xerxe and Humanoid in the bush. There's no vision in here, and they know it, and they saw Nukeduck's entire approach from the bottom lane because of their very, very good vision. I almost wonder if the teleport was intentionally away from this position so they could find that isolated 2 versus 1. The TP looked weird, but it was just distraction.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say that. Vizicsacsi playing 6D chess. It's a thing now.
Teamfight tactics. Let's use that from now on.
Gnar, just as powerful there as he is here, as we can see. Friggin' Yordle shapeshifters. The game hasn't even come out yet and they're already broken.
Lulu looking broken too.
What?
They're on the Baron.
They're on the Baron. Patrik now stepping forward on the Draven, see what exactly he can do. Xerxe incredibly low, however, the knockup is there coming from Norskeren. They're just going to immediately delete one member. Kobbe is still alive. Patrik in the midst of everybody. Vizicsacsi with a big off the shutdown onto the Draven.
Look at
That's
him go.
2. That's 3. Kobbe showing up huge.
Kobbe popping off right there. Hits his item spikes and jams it down at OG. This is going to be an easy Baron for them as OG are left with scraps on the bot side.
Trying to fish for what they can, but a beautiful Gnar ultimate. The confidence there to engage to immediately delete Kold off the face of the map. Good play from Splyce.
Very good by them. It was almost a rough situation. They got funneled up into that corridor versus the Rumble Equalizer, but it just didn't matter as now Kobbe has 100% crit chance. The snowball the Draven strategy that Origen tried to go for did not work in the early game. Good play from Splyce, shut that down. We'll see this one more time because the cast gets wasted right at the start just to try and burst down the Baron perhaps. Kold goes down immediately, and again, there's no front line for Origen, so Patrik is left out to dry. Mithy has nowhere to go. These team fights are very, very difficult for OG when they see a giant Mega Gnar just ready to soak up damage and lock them down.
And the reality is right now, Kobbe and Humanoid are simply stronger than their counterparts. The Hexdrinker, yes, helps it with that 1v1 matchup, but it significantly lowers your DPS compared to the full crit itemization of the Xayah. As you mentioned, 100% crit chance on top of that. I don't know if you know, but, you know, Blade Collar definitely scaling with crit is pretty obnoxious. Making it even more powerful. Patrik, I feel like, desperately wanted that kill. Lost half his stacks.
So now Origen faced against the Baron. They're sending 3 members bottom lane. This is the window they must seize before they lose their mid lane tower.
Humanoid on the retreat. Where's the Shroud going to go? Needs to make it out to safety so incredibly fast. They're dashing through. Just going to delete Mithy. Wants to make it out. The Soul Shackles will not connect. Leaps back in, but a beautiful body slam will stop him in his tracks. Meanwhile, the mid lane tier 2 tower is going down. Humanoid, no, the redemption will not connect. Kold on the chase, but he can't do it. Look at how much damage this Akali does. This man will not be stopped. Vizicsacsi breaks the top lane tier 2.
Humanoid stands his ground in the 1v3. The recalls aren't coming in fast enough. Splyce is going to take the tower.
Breaking the inhibitor as well. Humanoid versus the world right now. Saving the game for Splyce. The sole member of the advantage in an even game state. He broke it wide open, and now the entire team is taking control.
Splyce looking to cut down Origen before they make it to Rift Rival. Splyce trying to make their name to push into the top 3 in the LEC. And Humanoid, of all people, stepping up is the biggest surprise and the biggest hero of this team.
What else can he do here? Does not want to get caught in the Shroud and the Equalizer. He's going to have to accept his fate.
Oh, he's cooking.
Stepping down, they're trying to find him. Where's he going to go? The shutdown comes through. 1,000 gold to Nukeduck.
Cast cursed.
Yeah. Whirling Death will now come out. Just a spot, just to play a little bit of vision game as they did not have enough eyes on Splyce. They could reasonably accurately guess. You can see the rest of the vision. Second Ocean will grab over to Splyce, but in the end, I just want to watch him play Akali on the bot side again. We've had so many insane Akali plays today.
Akali's looked real good. All I'm saying. I'm
gonna say as a region, I feel like we look real dumb that we didn't play it for the first 2 weeks. There's probably something that came from scrims, that there's some crazy counter we don't know about.
Let's be honest. A lot of our flex picks, solo lane champions, did end up getting nerfed. Akali not touched too badly. Now Humanoid in this 1v3 just watch the burst damage on towards Mithy. And then coming out of this, he ults to try and get back in the Shroud. As soon as he realizes he's not invisible from that, he uses the Zonias and then gets knocked towards Mithy.
To get knocked away.
So close on that Shuriken to the animation looking like it's a little bit further than the actual hitbox on that spell. And almost could have taken that. If he gets that to land, it's probably a double kill in all honesty.
And shout out to Kold. If he had not body slammed in that exact instance, I think Akali could have killed all 3 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because the execution damage is being interrupted, stopped in its tracks, keeping Nukeduck alive. But Kold now fishing. Will trade his flash and ultimate, just for Kobbe's ultimate there.
I'm a little concerned for Origen right now. They're pushing very forward up this mid lane, and notice behind them there's a lot of good red wards from Splyce. So look for a teleport flank. Vizicsacsi with his Mega Gnar as well, has the TP. Alongside Humanoid.
Of course, has just running out. The tired debuff, something to take into account. Going to be 15 seconds before he can stack that Rage again, but he's uncontested for now on the bottom side. Rumble moving down to match him. On the top side, it's that terrifying Akali. We can look at the damage chart, and well, we said Humanoid was a big deal. You can see the damage definitely backs that story up. See what OG want to commit, if they even want to fight for this tier 2. 4 members strong, 5th member moving down now, and Humanoid. Looks like the tier 2 will just break in the favor of Splyce.
Yeah, Origen will just give up their tier 2s and do their best to hold on to their inhibitor towers. The next Baron seems to be the place this game will be decided, whether or not Splyce can take that. Origen just have to hold the line up until then.
Need to back off, need to give the Mega Gnar respect though, have to be careful. Flash is of course up and available for everyone but Kold, so not too concerned at this stage. When Gnar comes out again, they may have an opportunity to push forward and clear some of these waves. Nukeduck forced to respond to the top side, to those super minions, so they will be down a man, but Akali's also pushing in the mid lane, so they remain relatively unconcerned. These waves not crashing at the same time is going to make things a bit difficult.
Yeah, without the Baron buff, it's just way too easy for Kold to drop the barrel on the mini wave and clear that out, unless they send 5 people into the mid lane as the wave is crashing down bottom lane. Wait, Splyce get the tower now.
Now backing off, Equalizer. Get a bit of healing. So yeah, forcing out that cooldown. Equalizer going to be huge in a coming team fight potentially. Chachi slowly stacking up here on the Rage bar, and it looks like they might even break an inhibitor tower, or rather a Nexus tower.
Ooh, got him.
And just incremental advantages once again for Splyce. Looking so clean as we move later in the game. Norskeren stepping forward, posturing, threatening. Vizicsacsi stunned for now. Of course, no equalizer. The amount of damage laid down to Rakan, but just too slippery to be locked down.
Yeah, I think Splyce just stick around. They go bot lane, try to knock that turret. Then they have one more wave mid lane. They can break that too. Don't even have to stress for the inhibitor. So Humanoid gets out of safety because Baron is spawning in less than a minute. They get these towers, then they can easily go back for the Baron and look to take that to close.
Eyes on Patrik. Where's the damage going to come from? Not going to connect. Only one man hit by the ult there. Nukeduck has to be careful though. Norskeren stepping forward. May just be able to find the stun. Hits on two members. Patrik needs to find a kill if he wants, but Kobbe just does simply too much damage. His ulti's back up. He pulls the feathers back, forcing the flashes out. Norskeren leaping forward and stepping back. Xerxe though, fishing for Patrik. Does Humanoid kill? Humanoid on the backside. No hope for the Draven. Mithy is next on the list. They're walking him down. OG desperately trying to make a last stand. The flash forward, the Randuins. Mithy will drop. Alphari is next, trying to get the barbecue, but it's not enough. The double kill. Nukeduck, the last man standing, but it's just not going to happen. Splyce now going to end the game. Splyce will take down Origen and raise the question, who really is the third best team in Europe?